Chapter 169, Malicious Interference 1. Zhu Tui was jolted awake. Gong Ling was very gentle when she woke Zhu Tui up. She gently shook her thigh a few times before Zhu Tui woke up. As soon as he woke up, all his senses quickly returned to normal. The faint fragrance lingering at the tip of his nose made Zhu Tui take a deep breath. It smelled really good. What he saw next was those big breasts. Gong Ling's sweet smile was behind her super big breasts. "Little Tui, how was your sleep?" "Senior Kuishi and Rankhan were about to fight, so I woke you up," Gong Ling asked sweetly. "Yes, it's very comfortable." Zhu Tui, who had stood up, touched the back of his head as if he had not had enough. Gong Ling's pretty face turned slightly red. "Have some water first." Gong Ling thoughtfully handed him a bottle of mineral water. She then took out a piece of tissue from her bag and wet it with another bottle of ice water before handing it to Zhu Tui. "Little Tui, wipe yourself with this and you'll feel refreshed." "Thank you." It was really refreshing to wipe his face with a piece of tissue that was soaked in ice water. It instantly woke Zhu Tui up from his daze. He could not help but glance at Gong Ling. It felt good to have a female classmate who cared. Suddenly, Zhu Tui began to understand why everyone was desperately trying to escape single status. This was because it felt really good to have someone caring and considerate. Zhu Tui liked it very much. "How long have I been asleep?" Zhu Tui asked casually. "A little over half an hour, 33 minutes. As he nodded, Zhu Tui quietly sensed the condition of his mind power. He was a little disappointed. Before that, he only needed to sleep for 6 hours before his mind power could be completely recovered. If mind power was divided into 100 portions, then a complete sleep cycle would be an hour and a half. The mind power recovered from a sleep cycle would be 25 portions and a quarter. This was the data that Zhu Tui had tested previously. According to this ratio, he should be able to recover 8 portions of mind power after 30 minutes of sleep. However, in reality, he felt that his mind power had only recovered by 5 portions after 33 minutes of sleep. That meant that he had recovered 5% of his mind power. It was much less than the expected 8 portions. This allowed Zhu Tui to conclude that a complete sleep cycle, which was 1.5 hours, would allow him to recover his mind power as quickly as possible. The effect of recovering mind power after less than an hour of sleep was not good. Is Senior Kuishi going to fight Rankhan? In the arena, Kuishi was already on the stage. Rankhan was still resting with his eyes closed because the bloodstains had not been cleaned up. The battle had not started yet. "Yes, when Rankhan went on stage and defeated Senior Miao Huanshan, I was worried that you didn't sleep enough, so I didn't wake you up." This is a recording of their battle. It's very short. Gong Ling very sweetly projected a video of the battle between Rankhan and Miao Huanshan for Zhu Tui. Zhu Tui's pupils constricted when he saw Rankhan disappear from the arena and reappear. This is the genetic ability of the extreme branch. Yes, it's extremely terrifying. Gong Ling nodded. Actually, it was not that Rankhan had disappeared or teleported. Instead, it was because the extreme branch had a genetic ability chain that would allow its speed to explode for a short period of time. The instantaneous burst of speed gave the illusion that it had disappeared. This ability was called Instant Strike. It was a famous killing ability of the extreme branch, but it was also very difficult to activate. He had to first activate the relevant genetic base points to obtain a genetic ability chain. Then, he had to mutate this genetic ability chain to obtain a flash ability. After obtaining this ability, his killing ability would increase exponentially. This ability was one of the strongest abilities in the extreme branch. Of course, it was also very lethal against the extreme branch. Moreover, Rankhan had also displayed his genetic abilities in the video. Whether it was the genetic bone blade or the instant strike, they were abilities that could only be obtained after a genetic mutation. They were also extremely powerful combat abilities. The abilities that many people obtained from activating the genetic ability chain were not entirely related to combat abilities. There were many types of abilities that could be used to assist, improve cultivation, or improve various qualities. Therefore, many times, the level of a genetic liberator or a genetic mutant could not explain their true combat strength. However, the number of their combat abilities reflected their true combat strength to a large extent. Many level D genetic mutants only had 2 or 3 mutated combat-type genetic abilities. Rank Han was only a level E genetic mutant, but he already had 2 combat-type genetic abilities. He was very strong. He was extremely powerful. Especially that instant strike. It was too powerful. Little Tui, who do you think will win the battle between Senior Kun and Rank Han? Gong Ling asked Zhu Tun after she saw that Zhu Tui had finished watching the battle recording. I can't say for sure. Firstly, I have never seen Senior Kun fight. Secondly, Rank Han is really strong, Zhu Tui said. It's about to begin. Zuo Qinking's words made Zhu Tun and Gong Ling look toward the arena at the same time. Almost at the same time, all the audience looked towards the arena. On the internet, the new genetic humans were watching the live broadcast through various channels. Kuishi held an alloy rod that was slightly taller than him. He raised it with one hand and pointed it at Rank Han. Almost the moment the referee gave the order to start the battle, Rank Han lowered his body and suddenly darted forward, disappearing from everyone's sight.